Right now, as you're listening to this, your mind is probably doing two things at once. One part of you is paying attention. The other part is already wandering, replaying something you said yesterday, worrying about something that hasn't happened yet, questioning whether you're wasting time by watching this video. That's not a coincidence. That's the problem. Overthinking doesn't arrive like a breakdown. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It disguises itself as intelligence, as self-awareness, as being careful. But slowly, quietly, it begins to eat your life from the inside. And the most dangerous part is this. You don't even realize it's happening. Most people think overthinking means thinking too much. That's not accurate. Overthinking is not excess thought. It's misdirected thought. It's the mind running in circles, not because there's a solution, but because it's afraid to stop. Think about it. When you're overthinking, are you actually solving anything? Or are you replaying the same scenes with different emotional filters? You go over conversations again and again. You imagine outcomes that never arrive. You prepare for disasters that exist only in your head. And you call this preparation. But what's really happening is avoidance. Because action carries risk, silence carries uncertainty, and stillness forces you to feel what you've been distracting yourself from. So the mind chooses noise. Overthinking feels productive because it consumes energy. Your brain is tired, your body feels drained, so you assume something meaningful must be happening. But exhaustion does not equal progress. A spinning wheel looks busy too, but it goes nowhere. Philosophers have warned about this for centuries. The Stoics believed suffering doesn't come from events, but from the stories we tell ourselves about those events. Modern psychology agrees. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to keep you safe. And safety to the brain means predicting every possible threat. So it scans the past for mistakes, scans the future for danger, and neglects the present entirely. This is why overthinking feels urgent. It's driven by fear wearing the mask of logic. When you overthink, you are not living your life. You are living a simulation of your life, a mental version, a hypothetical version, a version that exists only in your head. And the more time you spend there, the less real your actual life feels. Food loses taste, music loses depth, moments pass without being felt, not because life became empty, but because you weren't present to receive it. Overthinking pulls you out of your body and traps you in your head. You stop asking what you are experiencing right now and start asking what this means. What if this goes wrong? What this says about you? The mind becomes a courtroom, and you are both the defendant and the prosecutor. No jury, no verdict, just endless internal argument. This is where overthinking becomes truly dangerous. It doesn't just analyze situations, it analyzes you. You start turning temporary emotions into permanent identities. I feel anxious becomes, I am an anxious person. I made a mistake becomes, I always mess things up. I don't know what to do becomes, there's something wrong with me. This is not truth. This is pattern making. The human brain hates randomness, so it connects dots even when they shouldn't be connected. And over time, these stories harden. You don't just overthink your life. You overthink yourself into a character you can't escape. You might be wondering why, if overthinking is so destructive, you can't just stop. Because the mind doesn't stop habits by force. It replaces them with understanding. Overthinking is not a flaw. It's a coping mechanism. At some point in your life, thinking ahead helped you survive. It kept you prepared. It kept you alert. But what once protected you is now imprisoning you. Your brain hasn't updated the software. It still believes that if it thinks long enough, something bad can be prevented. So every quiet moment feels dangerous, and silence becomes uncomfortable. Overthinking doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like indecision, procrastination, emotional numbness. You delay choices because no option feels safe enough. You replay emotions instead of processing them. You feel tired without knowing why. And slowly, confidence erodes. Not because you failed, but because you never allowed yourself to try without analysis. Action builds self-trust. Overthinking destroys it. Because every thought says, "You're not ready yet." And one day you realize years have passed, not in chaos, but in waiting. There is a distinction most people never learn. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Thoughts happen to you. They are not you. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius understood this intuitively, and modern neuroscience confirms it. Thoughts arise automatically. You don't choose the next one. So why treat them like commands? Overthinking feels powerful because it feels personal. But most of what you think is repetition, conditioning, memory, fear, not insight, not truth. There is something terrifying and liberating about letting go of overthinking. It means accepting uncertainty. It means acting without complete clarity. It means feeling emotions without dissecting them. But this is where life actually begins. Not in answers, but in experience. Clarity comes after action, not before. Confidence comes from movement, not preparation. You don't think your way into a new life. You live your way into a new mind. When overthinking loosens its grip, something subtle happens. Time slows down. Moments feel heavier in a good way. You start trusting yourself again. Not because you figured everything out, but because you stopped trying to. You become more present, more grounded, more alive. Not louder, not perfect, just real. Let me leave you with this thought. Your mind will always try to pull you away from now, into the past, into the future, into stories. But your life only happens in one place, here. Not in your thoughts, not in your fears, not in your rehearsals. Right now. And maybe the life you've been overthinking is waiting patiently for you to finally arrive. Not with answers, but with attention, with presence, with enough silence to hear yourself again. And that silence is not emptiness, it's freedom.